as a dungeon master, I'm always up for new things. I'm always ready to experiment as part of the evolution of D&D. This idea of we've got a pretty amazing toolkit. We're all doing this D&D thing. Let's see what we can do. I'm not always as concerned with balance all the time. D&D is not a war game. It might have evolved out from a war game chainmail, but it is not a war game. So if the players have a slight advantage, or in tinkering with things behind the scenes, if things are a little bit easier for them, that's okay. If they're a little bit overpowered, but they're enjoying that heroic moment, that's okay. I'm not there to win as the DM. If anything, I'm there to be surprised. I'm there to be entertained, for the players to do things that are unexpected, that are challenging, that force me to adapt as a DM. But at the same time, I want to make sure that these new ideas or innovative ideas don't alienate any of my players. And what I mean by that is we sit down to play D&D. We all have the way, our way, a way of how we enjoy D&D. For some players, that's doing the whole in-character voice thing. For other characters and players, it's analyzing the moves back and forth, crunching the dice numbers, advantage, disadvantage, all things like that. And some players are a little bit more reserved. We each contribute to the game how we contribute. Anything I innovate, though, I want to make sure that all the players are having a good time. That's my benchmark for success. If I'm doing something and I could see it's taking away from the narrative, or it's breaking the immersion, or one of the players isn't as excited, I need to balance that out. I want to balance that out. Okay, I'm going to share with you something I was experimenting with, and it kind of worked. It was kind of interesting. Might bring it back again just to kind of put out some ideas and have another piece in the D&D toolkit. There was a chance with Lords of Waterdeep. We could say back in the day, right? How long has Lords of Waterdeep been out? There was the premium coin set, which was like the Forgotten Realms coins and tokens. So a friend of mine who's just a massive 3D printing genius. He prints up a lot of my BattleTech stuff and other things. He likes to augment his board games. So he's got Lords of Waterdeep, and he 3D prints all these coins for the tokens, the gold pieces and the platinum and the silver. And I see these and I say, wow, I could really use these for my next D&D game. I don't know how, but I could really use these. So a week or two later, bags and bags of coins. Being a miniature wargamer also, in my same life, I've got lots of paints, so we paint up all the coins. And it was kind of a fair trade. You hook me up with the coins, I'll paint your coins, I'll paint your stuff too, so we're ready to go. So now I'm approaching my next couple of D&D games, weekly games. I got to do something with these coins. I mean, I guess as we hand out treasure, I could hand out coins real time and transaction like that, but let's kind of do something interesting. Let's pull something in. So one of the ways that I award experience, and I'm mindful with this also, you get the classic experience in D&D. You beat the challenge rating, you beat the encounter, you get the experience, you're good to go. That goes into a pool for the players, and it gets divided. Then anytime a player takes a risk or does something in character or does something that surprises me in a good way, like, wow, I didn't think of that, I'll give you a little experience. Not hundreds, 50 experience points, 10 experience points, 20 experience points. That also goes into the pool. So we have earned encounter / combat experience, and then we've got other experience. I put it into a pool because, again, we all contribute to D&D in our own way. That gets divided out. So with that, I was thinking, okay, every time the players do something kind of cool or interesting or take me by surprise or somehow pull off something somewhere that's D&D-like, I'll give you some gold. Oh, I start with silver. We're doing the old school D&D. I wasn't doing copper, but old school D&D where it's the silver, the gold, the platinum, and the electrum coins. So you get some coins. You get some actual physical coins. At some point, you can decide to trade those in. Now, what's the cost? What's the worth? What can you trade them in for? I don't know. You tell me. So we're in the middle of an encounter, fighting. Barbarian just went down. Cleric's too far away. It's getting interesting here. Fritz, I could really use advantage. You're thinking I could really use advantage on this next attack. I'm going to attack. I'm going to do this. I got to make it happen. But I don't have advantage. Okay. You want advantage? How much is it worth? How much you got? This idea of being able to spend, we're just representing it by gold. Maybe it's fate points. Maybe it's the will of the gods. Maybe it's just some D&D thing. What's it worth to you? How much can you spend? Make me an offer as the DM, then it goes back into the pool. Or if you really want to chance it on the dice, make a charisma check, make a persuasion check. I assign just kind of a generic DC, maybe a bump or two higher, 10 or 12, so you're probably going to make it. And 5 or 6 gold, okay, make that check. Pass, you get your roll. And we kind of experimented with that, and it was interesting. What I found was keeping it very fast and fluid in the moment. I don't want to take away from the immersion. We're in that combat, and you're like, man, if only I had advantage right now. Fritz, how much is that worth? 10 gold. Oh, man, 10 gold. How about 8? Okay, 8, done. Give me the 8 gold. Here you go. Here's your advantage die. So keeping it light, fast, and don't really worry about if it breaks the scenario or the players get some advantage from it. That's what it's there for. It's to encourage them to earn some gold, fate points, D&D points, whatever we're going to call it, represented by these Lords of Waterdeep 3D printed coins. From that perspective, how can we use it? Where I pulled away from it for a little bit was figuring out how to adapt the different player styles. Because again, players play differently to make sure everyone's earning coins at a somewhat equal level. That was important to me. How you spend it's up to you. How you spend it. One player was like, one player wanted to, it's a level 20 shop, and they wanted to buy, I'm trying to think of the magic item. They wanted to buy some magic item that, it was like the sword on the wall that was this adventurer's sword up there with the, ready to buy. And just some insane offer. There's no way that he was going to sell that sword. But the player's like, how about I trade in the gold that I have? How much you got? He was saving it up for like 2 months, pulling out literal bags of gold. He's like, I got 380 gold pieces real time. I'm like, you got gold pieces, 380 gold? I'm like, man, I'm handing out like 5 or 6 of these a session. I'm checking, make sure they're not counterfeit. Like, he was saving absolutely everything. I think he was trading too with some of the other players at some point. But hey, it's legit. So for that, I was like, okay, I'll give you make a persuasion check. I'm like, I'm going to tell you the DC 15, which at that point, he could probably make it. I'm like, no assist, no buffs, no bard stepping in. You just got your straight up if you want to do that. He did it. He got the sword. Created some interesting things in the campaign. So I want to make sure that the players earn this stuff somewhat equal, or at least regularly. But again, how you spend it, that is entirely up to you. And I guess it's still in full force. So I'm thinking of 2 players that pop in and out of my games over time, where I think they've still got some of this gold out there, like out in the wild. So at some point they could show up at my game, even if we're not using it. And they're like, I want that advantage. Here's 10 gold. I would honor it. And then the other players might be like, wait, what are we starting up? How do we get this gold? How do we do this? And I'd have to bring it all back out. So I say that, be ready to innovate. Don't have it take away from the game. Don't have it be a game within a game. Don't break the immersion. But what can you do as a DM? Experiment. If it works, great. You'll become known for it. If it doesn't work, you gave it a try. It's always an idea, a D&D idea for something new and something else.